People who cry easily are not weak. They're the ones most people secretly don't understand. And the reason is simple. We live in a world where emotions are hidden. From a young age, you're taught to control yourself, to stay calm, to not overreact. Crying becomes something embarrassing, something you're supposed to outgrow. So over time, people learn to disconnect. They learn to smile when they're hurting, to stay quiet when something feels wrong, to pretend everything is fine, even when it's not. But not everyone can do that. Some people are wired differently. They don't just experience emotions, they absorb them. Imagine sitting in a room with two or three people. No one is saying anything unusual, but something feels off. A small shift in tone, a pause that lasts a second too long, an expression that doesn't match the words. Most people ignore it, but someone who cries easily, they notice it instantly. And not only do they notice it, they feel it. Their brain doesn't filter emotional signals the same way. It processes them faster, deeper. Psychologists often connect this to high emotional sensitivity. It means your nervous system reacts more strongly to emotional input. So one small moment can feel like something much bigger. A single sentence can replay in your mind. A small disappointment can stay with you for hours. And slowly, all of it builds inside you. Now here's where people misunderstand everything. When someone like this starts to cry, it looks like weakness. But what you're actually seeing is everything they've been holding in. Because people who cry easily don't suppress emotions. They don't push things down just to look strong. They carry it, they process it, and eventually, it overflows. But here's something most people don't realize. The people who don't cry are not always stronger. Sometimes they've just become numb. They've trained themselves to ignore what they feel, to shut it down before it even surfaces. And while that may look like control, it comes with a cost. Because when you disconnect from pain, you also disconnect from everything else. From empathy, from connection, from understanding yourself. But people who cry easily, they don't have that filter. They stay connected, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it hurts. And that's exactly why they're misunderstood, because their emotions are visible. And visible emotions make people uncomfortable. You know, imagine being around someone who feels everything deeply. It forces you to face something you've been avoiding, your own emotions. And most people don't want to do that. So instead of understanding, they judge. They say, you're too sensitive. You take things too seriously. But what they're really saying is, I don't know how to deal with what you're feeling. And here's the deeper truth. People who cry easily are often the ones who understand others the most. Because they don't just listen, they feel. They can sense when someone is lying, when someone is pretending, when someone is silently struggling in a group of people. That's why others feel safe around them. That's why people open up to them without even realizing why. But that strength comes with a heavy cost. Because when you feel everything, you don't just carry your own emotions. You carry the room, the tension between people, the unspoken sadness, the stress no one admits. And over time, it becomes too much. So when they cry, it's not a breakdown, it's release. It's the mind saying, I've been holding too much for too long. And maybe the most important thing to understand is this. Crying is not a sign that someone is weak. It's a sign that they're still connected. In a world where most people are slowly disconnecting from themselves, that's rare. Because real strength is not about hiding what you feel. It's about being able to face it, to sit with it, to understand it, to experience it fully without running away. So if you're someone who cries easily, stop trying to fix it. There is nothing broken. Yeah, you're not too much. You're just someone who feels more in a world that feels less. And that kind of depth, that kind of awareness, is not weakness. It's something most people lose without even realizing it.